another meme. Did you guys just see the new intro?
Lovely. Big up.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
I didn't even expect it. Welcome, everybody. Clearly, you're on here to help you. That was cool.
To the world, yes.
How come no one ever tells me about these things until they happen?
Surprise.
Did you know? Did you know about this?
I cannot tell a lie, but my nose will grow.
Who knew? Last minute.
My nose
That's
will
so
not
cool,
grow.
though.
I did
Grant
know,
made
yes.
us a new entry. You know what? And I'm gonna call people out right now. So Dave was supposed to make our intro for the show, everybody, and Dave didn't make it. I'm such a sellout, eh?
Very, very much so.
He was too busy DJing in Bermuda. He was too busy on
Sorry.
Care 101 radio at 10 o'clock, Mondays, 10 till 12. Everybody, we're having fun. How are you guys today? Today, you know what? I had to start light because we're going to go into some heavy material today.
Yeah, man, it is heavy. Today, primarily, we are dealing with, of course, with the brothers and sisters who have faced incarceration from across the border,
yes.
Right? So, all us, faithful Canadians, by means, please do, with all due respect, it's not about us today. It's about, of course, our brothers and sisters who are going through these things.
Across the border, man.
Mm-hmm.
Across the border, because they have it rough. Like, we have carding. They have shootings. I'm not saying we don't have shootings here. Let me not be ignorant and say that. But I'm saying not to the extreme.
Right.
I'm not fearful. I'm being serious. I'm not fearful as a black woman in Canada. I'm being honest.
Okay.
I've never had a negative interaction with a police officer.
Okay.
It could be because I was wearing a low-cut shirt.
Are you implying that every time that you had an interaction with police that you've been wearing a low-cut shirt?
Usually.
I see.
You're right. I don't know what it is, but I've never had problems. But over there, like, you're going to go through you're going to talk about some people today where, like, I mean, they're just trying to live their lives and they get flung in jail for years.
You see,
I can only imagine, like, that type of trauma. Like,
there's, and Philip Shock Matthews mentioned this, in regards to, of course, government plots to go ahead and pretty much deteriorize a community where a community is no longer flourishing, right? And, of course, you have the introduction of course, people who can't pay their bills. So when it comes down to that now, of course, poverty stricken, right? And people who can't eat, guess what they're going to do? And
they're going to eat.
Right?
I'll tell you that much. They're going to find
do what
some
they can,
way to eat.
Right?
They'll figure it out.
It's I don't know, man. I mean, in regards to the cycle, I have my own theory in regards to, of course, how we can get out of it. But it's not about myself, right? It's about in regards to, like, us understanding, of course, what is happening as a whole.
Can you give us a little bit of your theory?
I think that, number one, we as Africans, I think we've settled in the name that we've chosen for ourselves. And hear me out for a moment. People have to go ahead and relate themselves to a nationality, right? And black is not a nationality. Black describes what we look like, right? And maybe in regards to how we feel, but it isn't a nationality, right? That being said, in regards to now for a lot of things that we need to have accomplished, it needs to be tied to a political engine, right? I'm not Democrat, Republican, liberal, New Democrat, none of that in regards to our own, right? These things, of course, would allow us to go ahead and take the necessary steps so that way we're no longer in poverty. We're no longer, of course, feeling that we have to go outside of our own to go ahead and do the things that we would like to do to have a human experience.
Dave for president. Just when you thought it was going to be serious, I'm here to help you. I ruin it again. No, but you raise excellent points, Dave. And it's something that has been, I wouldn't say try, it has been done before. The Black Panther Party was
a political party, yes.
Political party,
yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. That didn't turn out the way we wanted it to.
The end result, yes, of course.
Right? But it has been done. And it was a positive movement. This is the thing. People put a lot of negative with that movement.
Right.
But there's a lot of positive. There's negative in everything, but there was a lot of positive that was in that movement, what they stood for. Mm-hmm. So what you're saying, I completely do agree. And there's a reason, because we have people, again, like being killed. Mm-hmm. And to me, when someone is wrongfully convicted, and I know this is not just all that we're going to be talking about today. So today, everybody, just so you know, in the next little bit, when the call is just going to come. We don't know when it's going to come, but it's coming.
For sure.
And we have Miss Tia Hamilton, who lives in Baltimore.
Yes.
And she has a magazine called State versus... When I first read it, I was like, State versus U.S. This doesn't make any sense. Stupid me. And I really took it, and I saw that it was a state versus us.
Right.
I was like... But you know what, though? I could see how she could have tried to play on that a little bit. Maybe it was just the way I was playing it on with the words. It was just state versus us, wasn't it? Anyhow, what she has in there. So she's going to be talking about some of the stuff from... And again, this is coming from the trenches. And I'm going to say that. This is coming from her grassroots level, what she's seen and what she's experienced and what she's decided she needs to do. There's always a reason for a movement.
Yeah, of course, and there's way too many brothers and sisters who've served over 10, 15, 17, 20, 30 years, right? And of course, they get out, there's no support, let alone anybody telling their story. Something like this is very instrumental in regards to now shedding light to a lot of these things which have happened, right? And also, it also sheds light in regards to some of these steps that can be taken in regards to avoiding some of these things as well, right?
Oh, so Dave's really nervous today, guys. I'm going to tell you why. Because Dave...
I got my nervous eyes.
Dave prepared the whole show today. Usually, guys, and to be real, it's me. Prepares the show.
Half.
No.
Like, Eddie, I want half. Yes, half.
But today, no, but it is usually half. But today, Dave's doing it all. So he's like, no, I'm not. I'm not speaking. I'll just sit there and not talk. I swear, Simone, if you make me talk by myself, I'll just not talk. I'm like, yeah, that's going to work real well. Like, no one's going to... But let's start talking about... We have a few minutes before our first break.
Right. Let's
talk about some things that you have found. And we have a lot to go through. We're not getting through all this before she calls. But you know what? We might be able to tackle some stuff from it.
Yeah. We can start with an article from the New York Times. It was dated March the 7th of 2017. The title of the article is Black People More Likely to Be Wrongfully Convicted of Murder, right? And this is a study. What it did was this, and I'll read from the beginning. Black people convicted of murder or sexual assault are significantly more likely than their white counterparts to be later found innocent of the crimes, according to a review of nearly 2,000 exonerations nationwide spanning over 3 decades.
Dave, I don't have that.
2,000.
Where is it?
What do you mean? It's right here at the beginning.
Okay.
Yes, I know.
Sorry.
Live TV, folks, I know.
I'm usually in a lot more control, so I'm a little flustered here. Continue, Dave. All right, come with it. Come with the info, my brother. Come.
Right. So when it comes to murder, black defendants account for 40% of those convicted of the crime, but 50% of those wrongfully convicted, they are found. Right? Whites accounted for 36% of wrongfully convicted murder defendants. So they continue to state, of course, regarding to a higher murder rate within the black community contributes to a higher number of wrongfully convicted murder defendants, which is interesting because of the fact that you look at places, of course, like Baltimore, Philadelphia as being another one, St. Louis being another as well, right? Where crime rates are very high. Chicago is being another, right? And of course,
Detroit.
Yes, right? And the high density or concentration of population is us. Well, also, look at the socioeconomic conditions of these places as well, right? Detroit, for one, it's sad in regards to what has happened to that city.
Flint, Michigan. They don't even have clean water.
Exactly.
They don't even have water to drink.
They can't bathe their skin.
They can't bathe their skin. Can you imagine?
Mind you, the citizens of Africville, they face the same thing.
Same thing. Yes,
right?
That's true. That's true.
Their situation was years ago. So, and you think, of course, this day and age, technology, so
we would have come
forth,
so much further.
Right. But, of course, in the expense of cutting a few corners and saving a few dollars, this is what happened.
Suffers.
Exactly.
So, wow. Are we getting cut off?
No, we're not getting cut off, man.
I feel like, ow, wow, very aggressive. I feel like in the Grammys. I feel like in the Grammys when they're playing that music and you're just about to come off, we don't want to hear you anymore. So when we come back, we're going to go into this a little bit more and we're going to have Miss Tia Hamilton.
Yes.
See you guys soon.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Go ahead.
I can talk now?
Yes. Go
Hi,
ahead.
guys. Because I don't know.
You don't know?
I start talking. I was sitting here talking to myself for like 2 minutes, guys, realizing I was even on. Welcome back, everyone, to Here to Help You. Honestly, like, no one... Can we get a new engineer?
You want a cue, don't you?
I want a cue this time.
Stop it.
So, welcome back, everyone. If you're just joining us, as much as we are in a light mood today, we're talking about some very serious situations. So before, we're going to have a special call-in guest today, Mrs. Tia Hamilton from State vs. Us magazine.
Big up, be more.
Yes, we are talking about some of the corruption that is happening that we know of, but we're talking about more of the stand that this young woman has taken towards this corruption. And she started a magazine and she put it out so that people are aware of exactly what's happening in their community. That's the biggest thing I like about it. It's she's showing people what's happening. You can't deny it. These are the facts. Love that stuff.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, I've had a chance to go online and take a look at their magazine. I mean, some interesting articles, definitely. We'll get into one young lady who's been, of course, convicted for the Stand Your Ground she thought the Stand Your Ground laws would go in and protect her, but of course has been wrongfully convicted. But I mean, in regards to now, of course, showing these convictions, and more importantly, showing what these people have done after they've been exonerated, right? Which is, it's wonderful to see that, of course, you know, they now progress with their life, they receive the support system and so on and so forth.
You okay?
Sorry, I need some water.
We're going to have to get Dave some water. I'm telling you guys, he was nervous. You guys didn't believe me. He's all choked up.
Stop it.
He has to do most of the talking today. You want me to save you? Do you need a moment?
No, I don't need a moment.
Okay, go on ahead. Go ahead.
All right, so before the break, we were speaking on the New York Times article dated March 7th of last year. Now, continue on. Misconduct, such as hiding evidence, tampering with witnesses, perjury, may have also contributed to the racial disparity. One such example is the Umar Burley case.
I can find it in my paperwork that you gave me?
No, not at all. Can you mind I'm showing the picture of Umar Burley, please?
Umar Burley.
Yes.
Oh, I found him.
You found him?
I found him.
Nice.
47-year-old.
Yes.
Umar Burley.
So this, in fact, he's been exonerated after spending. Actually, he was charged with a 15-year prison sentence. He's in the middle.
Okay.
And of course, lawyers and support staff and the two ends. Okay. But yeah, as the article from the Baltimore Sun. So a Baltimore judge vacated the manslaughter conviction of a man for the killing of an 86-year-old while fleeing police 8 years ago. The result of new evidence uncovered through a corruption investigation into a police gun unit out of Baltimore. So here's the story. This gentleman is, of course, being convicted of a crime. Not only that, but the officers who arrested him planted drugs on him. So I don't remember exactly which type of drug, but definitely drugs, right? So a double whammy. Could you go to the second picture? There should be an Umar Burley. Here we go. Okay, so our right, I guess everybody's left.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Caucasian officer.
Yes.
That would be easier. All right, so his last name is Jenkins. So this
I remember when he first said that, I was like,
I know.
There's a white cop and his last name is Jenkins.
Yes, that's right. So the Caucasian cop, right? This is the gentleman now, of course, who went in and planted the drugs, right, on the gentleman in the middle, Mr. Umar Burley.
Okay.
His partner, which was the other cop, the African American, he later found out about this and ended up dying during the investigation.
Okay, what do you mean he ended up dying? What does that mean?
He's dead.
I get the
dead,
fact that
right?
he's dead.
No
Dave.
longer here, ceased to exist.
I
Right?
get it, but how did he die? And during the investigation,
Well-
explain how that happened.
I'm not exactly sure regards to how. I'm under the impression that he's been shot.
From who?
I'm not sure. They wouldn't say. I didn't get anything else out of the article in regards to stating in regards to like how or who or when, that those sort of details. But they're both partners. One found out what the other one was doing.
And one
This
got
guy's no
shot.
longer here.
Okay, so we'll just leave that there and
Right.
let our viewers decide on what they want to think about that.
Right.
Continue.
So when the evidence was found, of course, now the exoneration took place. Right. Let's see now. Last year, Burley was freed from prison when federal prosecutors investigated the gun trace task force, developed information that drugs had been planted in Burley's vehicle after the routine stop. Right. So once again,
So how many years did this man lose off his life?
8 years.
That's still a lot of years.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much trouble I got in 8 years? It's a long time to not be getting, not that type of trouble is going to get you up in trouble, but you know
Right.
what I'm trying to say? Like,
Right.
that's a lot of years to be taken from your life for something that you did not do. That's crazy. And the black officer, again, was shot and killed during this investigation after he found out that the things.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's
Wow.
like a scene out of a movie, right?
That's crazy.
Art imitates life, and this is real life.
Wow. Okay.
Right. So I mean, he's been exonerated. I'm not sure if there's a civil suit pending or whatever the case is, but it's good to know that this evidence came out. It sucks the fact that it took this long.
And that this is happening a lot more. Oh, yeah. She's here. Yay. Ooh. Hello. Hello.
Hi, this is Ted with Konnoisseur.
Oh, no. Hold on. Let's see if we can clear this up a little bit. Oh. Okay. Let's clear this up. Yeah, let's hang this up and see if we can clear this up a little bit. She's gonna call back. Don't worry, Tia. If you're watching, call back again, please. We'll get you on. We don't know what just happened there, but okay. All right. Are we good now? He's giving me the looks of death, but it's not my fault. I'm just. Hi, everybody. No, honestly, we good to go, or should we continue? Because we still have...
Might as well just keep going, right?
Right.
You mind showing the picture of Lamar Johnson, please? Lamar Johnson, also out of Baltimore. This story I've taken from also the Baltimore Sun, and September of last year of 2017. He was in jail for 13 years. Right, wrongfully convicted once again. From the Baltimore Sun, it said here, for more than 13 years, through 2 failed appeals and countless crushed hopes, the West Baltimore man had waited for these moments in court. Circuit Judge Charles Peters, without comment, granted Johnson a new trial on evidence that 3 new witnesses said Johnson was not the gunman from a 2004 killing in East Baltimore.
Okay.
13 years.
Okay. So another situation where someone is wrongfully convicted. 13 years.
Yeah.
I'm just, you know what it is? I'm just thinking about, and how, I'm sure we're going to talk about it. How are these people like, how do you, sorry. Like, what do you say? Like,
Right.
I'm stuck on that.
You know,
How do you give people back 13 years of their life?
You can't. I don't think there's anything that you can do to go in and give that, the amount of lifespan that we should now lost, right?
We are. Let's see. We got it this time. Hello.
Hi, this is Tia.
Hi, Tia. How
Tia,
are
what's
you?
I'm fine, and you?
Very
We
well.
are well. Thank you so much for calling in. I don't know what happened last time, but we got you this time. How are you
No
today?
problem. I'm dope, super tired. I'm in the middle of this media tour, so I'm about to get myself ready because I fly out for L.A. tomorrow, like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you. Thanks for even giving us
Yes.
a moment. We appreciate that because we know how it's like to be
Absolutely.
definitely like in a plane, off a plane, on a plane. Last month was crazy, so we hear that can be. So I'd like for you to introduce yourself to the My TCN TV viewers, please.
Okay, well, first I'd like to thank you guys for taking the opportunity to want to, do the interview and get my story and the project and what I'm doing. So thank you guys so much.
No worries.
Hi, I'm Tia, Miss Konnoisseur Hamilton. I am the CEO and owner of WMSKOnlineradio.com and State vs. Us magazine.
Okay.
So, thank you guys.
Thank you. Okay, tell us some more. Tell us about both of these projects that you're doing. Let's start with, the biggest one we want to talk about is State versus Us. And then we want to hear about the other things that you do, because today we just finished talking about, actually, Dave, tell Tia what we just discussing.
We were just going through two cases where two men from Baltimore have been exonerated, Lamar Johnson as well as Umar Burley. I'm not sure you must be familiar with both of their cases. Is that correct?
Only Lamar Johnson.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, right? So, I mean, we've been discussing their cases briefly in regards to, of course, how they've served their time and new evidence, has come out after, X amount of years of them serving into their sentence, right? And now they've been free. When all along, they've been maintaining their innocence, but yet, of course, nobody else being, an advocate or even just listening to regards to what it is that they've presented to the courts, right?
Right.
Right. So my question to you is this: since you're more familiar with Mr. Johnson's case, have you had a chance to reach out to Mr. Johnson in regards to finding out, how he felt after being exonerated? What was his next steps? If there was a support system afterwards, anything of that nature?
Well, right now, Mr. Johnson can't do interviews because now they're in another court battle with the state and the city. So once he finished all of that, he's suing them, of course, civil. So he can't really speak on too much or do anything, but Mr. Johnson and I have been in contact. And the type of interview that I need from him, we have to wait. Okay. We have to either wait and see, how things move and how things going to go before him and I sit down, because my interview is not what you see from these news media on TV. My interviews are so real and so in-depth. I ask questions that nobody else wants to ask. So as soon as all that is cleared over with his attorneys and everything get put in the place they need to put it in, then Mr. Johnson and I are going to the table.
Okay.
All right. Tell us, in saying that, we have about 44 seconds, so I don't want to get you into too much of a conversation, but I'll say this. When we come back from our break, you're talking about these real interviews. I want to hear some of the things that you're hearing. You don't have to give names because sometimes things are confidential. But I'd like to hear some of the things that are happening. Us people here in Toronto, we were just saying there are some things going on with our brothers and sisters in other communities that we need to understand. And I love the fact that you are doing something like this. You have a project like this that's going to allow us to learn and see how we can even help from this side. If there's anything that we can do, maybe very little, but we're going to figure something out. Okay, Tia?
Absolutely.
All right. Give us about 10 minutes. Not even 10 minutes, 3 minutes. We don't know, 10 minutes. You mean 3 minutes? We're going to go on a little bit of a break and we'll continue this conversation. We'll be back, everybody, with Ms. Tia Hamilton.
One night going home, it was the night where I got promoted to becoming the sales leader of the team, and that was the best day of my life. And I'm driving home at 3 a.m, and I fell asleep behind my wheel. It's cold, it's winter, it's December 22nd, right, literally Christmas Eve, and I drive my car into a utility pole, a thick wooden one, and my car spun and hit a fire hydrant, and then I landed on the edge of a hill going down into a parking lot. If I had a passenger, they would have been dead. And I woke up the next day, I went straight back to the office. I have a cast on my hand. I walk in, I'm like, I almost died last night and I'm still early. Don't be late.
You know when you get stuck and you someone catches you do something, you're just like, you freeze. I just smile.
Yes.
It's like it's a distraction.
It probably is.
Welcome back, everybody. We have Miss Tia Hamilton. Miss Tia, are you here still?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, all right. So before we left for our little 10-minute break that I said that we were supposed to have, we had just started to learn who Tia is.
Yes.
And now, Tia, I want you to tell us what is happening in Baltimore. Talk to us. What got you motivated to do this project?
Well, I received a phone call from my ex who was currently incarcerated. And he, too, has been sentenced outside of his sentencing guidelines. And he wanted to let the world know about the things that are going on inside the prison system. So I said, okay, well, I can do one better. I can not only, get the information from inmates who doing something. I said, let's add high-profile cases. Let's add wrongfully convicted inmates. Let's add the injustices, not just with people just going regular stories of what's going on with inmates. Let's get down and dirty with it, and let's use the resources that I have with the celebrities and get them involved as well. And let's also input financial literacy, real estate advice, mental illness column, sports, and things like that, because I'm an avid sports fan. So I was actually working on my sports magazine, and when he asked me to do this, I put the sports magazine to the side and decided to go ahead and go full speed ahead with this project.
Okay, so you do have other projects, but this one, for some reason, took precedent for you.
Yeah, because it's needed. I've been in the street, you know what I'm saying? I got a story, you know what I'm saying? I'm on the cover of the premiere issue right now, and my story, I didn't give it all, but because they trying to get me to write a book, but I don't know. But my story is inside the magazine. I didn't have to go to the streets and do the things I've done, but I did. And it wasn't because I was forced. It wasn't because I had parents that would got high, or I had parents who wasn't involved. But my mother had several degrees, and she worked full time and went to school. And I had a grandmother who took care of us when my mother was at school or work. And I had loving family. I didn't have family strung out on drugs or in and out of jail or things like that. I actually had a middle class setting. So when I graduated, and I just decided to, be in the gang and be in the streets and sell drugs and do what I wanted to do.
You know what? It's interesting because I resonate with you and I understand you when you do say that, because it's sometimes people. I had a conversation with someone, and it's true. Sometimes people think it's always the people who've had lesser than quality lifestyles, like maybe no fathers in their lives or living in bad areas. Sometimes it is the middle class kids who do go out there and get themselves in trouble, and get themselves into situations. And I'm sure, I don't know if you want to share anything else. I'm hoping you will. You can share some of that experience. What even made you go out there? What made you go out there and know you had everything? That people would say that you had everything you needed to have, that, you don't need to go out on the street. So what prompted that for you?
Just me being a rebel. I've always been a rebel. I'm a rebel today. You know what I mean? So I just do what I want. And if that's something, my cousin was a big-time drug dealer out here from New York in Baltimore. So I want to say I followed his shoes, because when I decided to do it, he was already locked up for some years. So it was just a situation where he came home, now I'm the man. And he like, what happened? So it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was because of him. But I love that fast life, you know what I'm saying? And I got a lot of money. I didn't count in millions. I done did all of that kind of stuff. And the funny thing about it, every time I got in trouble, wasn't because the cops caught me red-handed because of me. It was always one of them phone calls with a tipster. You know what I mean? So,
right.
I had a good run. God saved me over 50 times from murders, being shot at, all kind of different things. But I'm still here. I'm here for a purpose. I'm here for a reason. I'm 40. All my homies that I grew up with, they didn't make 30. You know what I'm saying? So out of our circle, I'm the only one still here, and I'm here to tell my story. I'm here to be stop that next youth. If I can save one, I done my job. So I'm just here to let everybody know that these stories are not in vain. What they see on the media is not all what's going on. Just because you locked up, that doesn't make you a bad person. Just because you locked up, that don't mean you did it. And I have a story inside the magazine. It's called Justice Will Prevail. It's the Keith Davis Jr. story. If you look him up on Google out here in Baltimore, the Keith Davis Jr. story, which just had a victory in court today. His wife said that she was one of those people who thought that when the police said you did it, you did it. If you got found guilty, then you did it. If you were in jail, that means you belong there until it happened to her. And a lot of people doesn't want to be involved or don't want to be involved until it hit them. It got to punch you in the throat in order for you to realize, I can't breathe. What's going on, and wake you up that this is really happening to people that it shouldn't happen to. Because her husband is in jail for a murder that he didn't even commit, set up and framed by the Baltimore City Police Department. And he was shot at 40 times and hit 3.
He was shot at, say that one more time. How many times was he shot at?
He was shot at 40 times and caught 3 bullets.
Wow.
By the Baltimore City Police Department. Baltimore City Police Department was top 5 in corruption in this country. And then tell people, stop being afraid of, first of all, you're not even supposed to talk to the police if you don't want to. People need to understand that we pay them. We paid them to put that badge on. We paid them to go out there and do a community service, not community murder our black and brown people, men, women, and kids to death. We put you out. We pay your bills. We make sure your lights stay on. You fear us because of the knowledge that we have. You fear us because you don't want us around because you want to do this gentrification, but it got to stop. And black people need to understand that until you raise that right fist and band together and mean it, it's going to continue to happen. Don't want to be involved when it hits you in your throat. Be involved now because people are really being affected. Men are being taken out of their house homes, whether it's jail or in the grave. Black men are not being around to take care of their kids. The black American race is only 12.3% of the country, of the United States. But we take up 78% of the prison population. There is a disconnect, and it's a problem.
Yeah. You know what? And it's good to be hearing. You know what? It's good to I'm hearing you, and I hear the passion. I hear the anger, and I hear why you're upset because it's, again, living in Canada. Have you ever been to Toronto?
No, I need to come. My son wants to go to Nova Scotia so bad, child.
I don't know, but Nova Scotia has a lot of history.
Yes,
Nova Scotia has a lot of history here, so that I could see why that would be a good trip for him. Mm-hmm. But in Toronto, we have our issues here, but I don't think it's like that, Dave.
No, it's nowhere close to in regards to what's happening in Baltimore or Detroit or any other neighboring city, right? And the sad thing is that, you know what, we're pretty much at a hair trigger or a hairpin away for things that are happening, of course, in Baltimore to happen here in Toronto. I like the fact that, you know what, right now over here we have issues with carding, right? What you guys, very similar to what the stop and frisk was like over there, right? I like the fact that there was more and more awareness now in regards to, of course, the practice and of course, what our rights are up here, right? So we definitely appreciate you now taking the time to go ahead and shed light on the stories, which has been happening, right, in Baltimore. Like, Baltimore holds a special place in my heart. I got family all over Baltimore, right? And
oh, yeah?
Yeah. We can
he's a native.
Nice.
Right. So I mean, to hear that, of course, you know, the city police is top 5 corruption in the country, right? To know that, you know what, that just the senators, you know, the state, so on and so forth, that aren't doing enough to go ahead and alter or deter the corruption, right? Is saddening, you know, and of course, you know what, like what you are bringing to the table is something that is needed in this day and age. You know, so once again, we commend you, of course, for going ahead and taking up this challenge.
I love the fact that it's coming from a queen and the fact that you're rebellious. You resonate with me, girl.
I appreciate it because I'm not scared of these fools, man. See, I'm not scared of none of them. And it's sad because the things that they are doing force the community to be scared. I teach my son every day, you a king. And can't nobody make you bow down. They tell you to get down. You don't have to go down. See, people don't know their rights. It's a big deal. when you know your rights, it's a big deal. Who wanna mess with you when you know your rights?
It's true. It's true. It's true. Knowledge is power. It's very powerful.
Knowledge is big power.
Yes.
And the sad part about it is that we have to get these career politicians up out of here. If we get these career politicians up out of here who don't give a damn about our black kids, our black and brown children, and teach them. We have to self-educate them. Stop leaving it into the hands of the media, social media, and to these teachers. They don't even want to teach you to write history in school anymore. They don't even have that many black history classes anymore. They don't even have sex educational classes anymore. I do youth summits and everything out here. I'm very involved in the community. And this lady got mad at me because I had condoms at the youth summit. I told that lady she better stop being green before she be a grandmother. they having sex in the kindergarten. What you talking about?
Oh.
I'm like, you don't know what these kids are going through daily, fighting and struggling just to stay afloat because they have parents who leave them neglected. They have parents who allows them to be raped by their boyfriend. They have parents who just not aware or just green and allowing men to just come in to their home and just kill, like the case in New York last week. This dude came home from jail. He had a baby by her, though. It was 2 kids. He only had one by her, and it was a 5-month-old baby. But he killed her 3-year-old daughter. He sexually molested and killed her.
That's crazy.
And he just came home. He's a convicted felon.
Oh.
So we have to be mindful. Do I think she knew that he did that he was that type of person? I don't know. I can't say. Because we don't know the history behind
That's right.
all of that work.
That's
but
right.
the sad part about it is the fact that 3-year-old baby life was cut short because you got some dude up in your crib beating you and then in turn took your kid.
All right, Tia, I want you to hold on to that thought. We're going to take a little small break and come right back to you. We'll be back with Tia Hamilton, everybody.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll wait.
T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You are. We're back, family. We're back.
Tia!
Ma'am?
We back, girl.
I got some respect in me. I was raised right for real.
We back, girl. We're back. We have about another 10 minutes with you. So,
absolutely.
And you know what? I think that this is going to be one of those conversations we're going to have to follow up on.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we want to stay on top. Again, you know what? There's certain cities in the States that have a special place in my heart. Detroit is one of the first places. And my second love is Baltimore. Mm-hmm. So when I saw, actually, Grant, the owner, he was the one who forwarded your message to us. How did you find out about us? Let me find out that.
Instagram.
Woo! All right, you found us. That's awesome.
Social media working.
Social media is working. For everyone who doesn't think social media works.
I said that, because I wanted to get the word out. So I wanted to go on different platforms and different places and just talk, whoever would have me. So salute to you guys for being one of those.
Listen.
Because a lot of people didn't respond. And I get it. I'm not looking for everybody to respond because I get it. Everybody don't like to touch this subject. People scared for her. They chump. So,
yeah.
And when you're a chump, you're more than likely to be affected by the same issue. Mm. And then you're going to be looking for people like me to stand up for you and hold it down for you because you can't hold it down for yourself. And that's fine. I'm here to be the voice of the voiceless. And with these inmates going through what they're going through inside these G walls, it's sickening. It's sad. You got, I just found out about a prison in Louisiana who barely got toilet paper in it. It's one of the poorest prisons in the country.
Wow.
Stuff like that is crazy. When Hurricane Harvey hit Houston, you had a federal prison who was underwater, and they didn't even want to get the inmates out because they didn't want them to escape. So you had inmates that died. You had inmates that got sick, and they got diseases because they was forced to drink that pissy water and with feces all in it. Like, it's real out here.
Oh.
That's terrible.
And it's the thing is, I really think, honestly, as much as we think we know, we don't know anything. I'm hearing some of this stuff, and this is news to me, Tia. I don't know none of this.
When I first started this, the amount of emails and phone calls that was coming, it was crazy. Crazy, I tell you. And to this day, I just dropped my first issue 2 weeks ago. I'm already sold out the first orders. I'm just re-upped on the next orders. But let me tell you, I got enough material to take me into issue number 4.
All right.
Wonderful.
All right, as in that's good.
So that's how much is coming.
Yeah. Do you guys do any work with Reuben Carter's foundation, Innocence International?
The who foundation?
Reuben Carter's, Hurricane Carter, Innocence International?
Okay.
Do you guys do any work with them at all?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
I would like to. And I'm trying to get in touch with the Innocence Project. The Innocence Project is part of the team who helped release Lamar Johnson.
Lamar Johnson, that's right.
So, and they release a lot of cats out here. The second issue, I'm going to have a former Black Panther in the magazine. He's going to tell his story of how the police, because with the Black Panther movement, the police was just being shady.
Right.
So he one of those that the police lied on, and he was locked up and did 44 years for nothing.
44 years.
So imagine 44 years, yet alone 4 years being taken away from your life for some stuff you didn't even do. You know what I mean? Like, this government is the biggest bullies and the biggest gangsters, yet they worrying about Bloods and Crips wars. And we got a whole gang war in the White House and up in Capitol Hill.
It's so true. Like, they're bullies.
Yeah.
They're such bullies. It's true, they're the biggest gang in the world. I cannot believe.
They're the biggest gang, and we pay for them to do this stuff to us. But we don't want to see and wake up and realize, like, yo, when we going to wake up, yo? Like, when are we going to wake up? You know what I mean? Like, we don't have it. It seems like we don't have it in us to fight for ourselves. And you see a whole lot of fight the power type people, a whole lot of people like me. I'm on the front line. Like I said, I'm not scared of them. I let them know And I let these white people know, you want to be stupid? Go ahead. I'm not my great-grandmother. I'll punch you in your face. I'm not scared of you. Like, you can go ahead and nut up, throw racial slurs, do all of that. Say what you want. But please be prepared for the rest that come after. Like, people got to stop playing.
You know
and
what
then you got Orange Face in office. He done woke all of them sleeping racists up, and now they feeling more powerful. Like, he the next Hitler to me.
Tia, you know what? I'm hearing it, and this is the thing. Let me tell you why people do not. People are afraid. People have seen what standing up looks like. Everyone who has stood up in the past. We're talking Black Panthers. We're talking someone as young as Mr. Fred Hampton. When you stand up and speak, they show you what happens. This is why a lot of people do not want to stand up. We can talk about, we have countless stories of people who have stood up. And when they have stood up, they've either been killed, well, most of them have been killed or incarcerated, right?
And you know, with the technology that's going on today, it's a different way you can fight. There's so many other ways that you can stand up to these chumps and go in. And I'm doing it right now with State vs. Us magazine.
Absolutely,
like
media.
They won't silence me. Like, I don't care how many different ways you try to, whatever. I can't be stopped. I never lose a battle. I never lose. I either win or I learn. So they can try, but you can't win against me. I won't be defeated. I can't.
So tell me, what do people have to expect with your magazine? Because before we close, we have a little bit of time left, but I do want you to tell people where they can find it. If, for example, for us living in Canada, do you have something online? Is there some place we can order this from? Talk to us about how, first of all, what are your next steps with this magazine? And then where can we find you? Where can we find this stuff?
My next step is issue 2. We're working on issue number 2 right now. Like I said, I have a former Black Panther in that issue. I have a lot of interesting stories from some female stories to be in the next one. I don't have any female stories in the first issue, but the second issue, there will be some female stories. And like I said, I have financial literacy. I got weed column. I have a little bit of everything for everybody.
Hold on, stop. You have a weed column?
Absolutely.
What's in your...
Never go anywhere without the marijuana.
What's in the weed column? I'm curious.
It's just basically talking about different type of bud and different weed and cannabis and all that kind of stuff.
Did you know that Canada, it's going to be legal here very soon?
Listen, spark it up. Maryland needs to stop playing and hurry up. They already have started the process here in Maryland. They have already got the weed dispensaries out, so it's time. I don't know why they playing with Mother Earth. Is this the Earth?
So true.
You got Tylenol on the shelf, but you take too many of them, you dead. But listen, fuck that blunt, man. Stop playing.
How do you know broccoli could be the next weed? Who knows? Okay. How do we know?
Tell you. It is what it is, man. Let's go.
I love it. I love it.
You got alcohol. You take too much. You drink too much alcohol. You could get poisoned. Listen, man. Fuck that up. I'm just saying. Listen, I'm just going to have fun with this project. I'm just going to do what I got to do. Tomorrow I'm in L.A. for 4 days, and I can't wait to get up in Compton and watch out there with the homies and just build. Like, they waiting for me patiently. They like, yo, the homie coming over here. And I can't wait. I'm going to be all over social media and be with them with the magazines and the hood. And listen, I'm excited. Because L.A., being West Coast, this is the market that I really want to be in. East Coast is easy for me. I need to get over there in that West Coast market, and I made it, and I'm over there, and it's on.
And at some point, you do have to bring some of this energy to Toronto.
You know what's funny? I got one of y'all models. Her name is Danny B. She's in my magazine.
Really?
She's a Canadian model.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
She's in the magazine. So she's in there. She's my only snow bunny. So she's in there, and she's very excited, and she's actually a real professional model in Canada. So
beautiful.
She will be in the next issue. I like her pictures. I like her professionalism. She's dope. So she'll be
Canadian.
in the next issue as well.
She's a Canadian girl. That's why she's so uppity. All right. So We have like 30 more seconds. I want you to just tell people where they can find you. And then you, of course, you and I are going to talk after this. But where can people find you right now? IG,
sure,
Facebook.
All right, the website, you can purchase digital downloads on your computers, your iPad, your whatever, your handheld device. You can get the digital downloads, and you can order your hard copies at State, V as in Victor, S as in Sam, U, S as in Sam, Mag, MAG.com. That's State versus Us, Mag.com. You can get that. You can go on there and you can look at some of the exciting stuff that's going on. You can also follow us on Facebook at State DS US Magazine, Instagram State DS US, and you can follow my personal page on Instagram, Miss Konnoisseur. That's MZ_KONNOISSEUR. Let me say it. You want me to say it again?
No. Miss Konnoisseur, we got you.
It's Konnoisseur with a K. It's Konnoisseur with a K.
Konnoisseur with a K.
You can yes, Miss Konnoisseur, MZ_Konnoisseur with a K.
Miss Tia.
Reach out to me. If you got a story to tell, email me at statedsuSmag@gmail.com. Let's see what it's doing. We'll see what it's about. Let's make it juicy enough, and let's get it in the issue.
Tia, thank you. Miss Konnoisseur with a K.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to say, Dave, I know Dave's going to want to say thank you, but I want to say thank you for coming and sharing the energy. I understand no one will get it until they're in that situation and experiencing those things. So thank you for just coming and sharing a little bit of that.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me, and I look forward to updating you guys whenever y'all ready.
We'll be in touch, Dave.
For sure. Once again, thank you so much for taking up this effort. It's a pleasure to know that someone is taking up the mantle, so that way future generations of our brothers and sisters will not get caught up in the system and actually know that there's a support system there for them. So thank you so much for doing this for us.
Absolutely, and I appreciate you guys, and I'm gonna continue this fight, and I'm gonna make it happen and do what it do for the voice. I'm the voice of the voiceless.
Tia, thank you. Have a wonderful day, and everyone are here to help. You guys have a great day. Take this information, use it, research it, do what you need to do. We got to work together as a community, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Peace and love, family.
Peace and love.
We are doing this event for the community. But what if CEO actually stood for catching every opportunity? This week alone, I've seen 3 businesses that shut their doors in this community.
Investing in yourself, you have to know what your brand is first. So there's no other way that you're going to build a brand unless you network. You have to eventually get out there.
And it stems down to a lot of times not having the right knowledge, the right know-how,